Hey y'all, happy new year and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Tammy. I am a 40-something-year-old woman living in Houston, Texas, and just living my life on the internet, of course with some guardrails. And traditionally this channel has just been about my life and how I am living it and how I am navigating being in my early 40s. For reference, I just turned 42 in December, and so I do not consider myself an expert on life. However, I do feel like I've lived enough life to be able to share my experiences so that some of the younger people can maybe learn from them and do better than me. I always want to help people in any way that I can. And I don't know that my channel was doing that prior to now. Some of my content resonated with you all, some of it did not, but we're going to get into this new year and what I hope to see from my channel going forward. And I would also love to hear your ideas of what you would like to see from me in this new year, especially because I hear a lot of chatter on TikTok about YouTube is dead, YouTube is dead, the girls are boring, nobody's on YouTube anymore, send me some new YouTubers. But I also see girls saying, I want to hear from the women who are 40 and 50 and up because I want to know what life could look like for me. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm on YouTube, I'm 40 and up, I don't think my life is boring, but obviously what I want to give you all and what you want to see is different. So I would love to hear from you in the comments about what it is that you would like to see from this channel. And if it's something that I can deliver, I'll do that. Anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video because I want to keep it brief. Yes, it is February 1st, 2026. Yes, I am telling you Happy New Year's today on February 1st, 2026. I know that the new year started on January 1st, but I am doing something different for once in my life. And that something different is doing exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. I have been a pretty structured person my entire life, and I am a rule follower. And I love that about myself because I think rules create structure, they create order, and they create a sense of, I think, consideration that is lacking in our society right now. However, I think some rules are meant to be bent or even broken, or sometimes they just deserve to be rewritten to fit where it is that you are in your life at a particular time, as long as they are not hurting anyone, harming anyone, or breaking the law. That said, I want to talk about how I am approaching 2026 and beyond, because it is very different than how I have done any other parts of my life. And I think that this might help somebody. If it helps you, great. I would love to hear it in the comments. If not, thank you for watching. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I did not set any goals for 2026. This is very different for me because I am a Capricorn, a type A Capricorn. And if you all know anything about Capricorns, baby, we the goals people. We got a checklist for everything, and we are constantly trying to, everything in our power to check those things off of our list and to achieve all of our goals. And I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with that, right? It's how I've lived the majority of my life. However, as I've gotten older, I have realized that you can play by all of the rules. You can have all of these really lofty goals, and you can make all of these plans for yourself. But the universe, God, whomever you pray to, has a way of saying, oh, that's your plan? Watch this. And deviating you off of the path that you want for yourself and having you do something different. And so I used to brace myself when that happened and really just try to hold on to what it is that I wanted to do. And sometimes it caused more stress than necessary. And my life really started to change when I embraced the pivot. I saw a vision for my life. When I was younger, maybe in my early 20s, I thought one day I'm going to be married, I'm going to have kids, I'm going to live this very cookie cutter, just add water American dream that has been sold to me my entire life. But the reality is that life is not that linear for most of us. And as I got older, I started really finding myself and observing the world around me and realizing that some of those things I want and some of them I really don't want. All that said, I was still creating these yearly goals for myself that when I look back at it was to set up my most optimal, perfect life. And we all know that perfect does not exist. Perfection is a figment of our imagination. It does not exist in reality. And so I think in a way, sometimes I was setting myself up for failure because I'm so hard on myself. I am my own worst critic. If I couldn't achieve these certain things, many of which had a lot to do with me, but also required the cooperation of outside forces, I was setting myself up for failure a little bit because I was not the person that was going to 100% contribute to the attainment of these goals, right? And so this year I thought to myself, what is it that I really want to accomplish? In my 40s, who do I really want to be at this point in my life? And I thought to myself, it started really with a conversation that I had with a friend of mine. Her name is Sakita Holly. She is the president and CEO of House of Success PR. She has owned her own PR firm for now 15 years and has been amazingly successful in working with some of the largest beauty brands in the African American space, right? And she has this phrase, this slogan, this life mantra, if you want to call it that says, done is better than perfect. And when she first said it to me ages ago, it hit me in my shondo. And I was like, done is better than perfect, because I've always been focusing on the perfection piece of things. And sometimes when you focus on the perfection piece of things, you don't get anything done. Because it's not perfect, you never actually complete it because you think in your mind, if it can't be perfect, I don't want to do it at all. That's not a way to live, y'all. It's not. So when I was ruminating on done is better than perfect, and I was thinking about the fact that I did not want to create any like official goals for myself this year, I thought, well, what is it that I'm going to do? And it clicked like a light bulb. I said, I'm going to focus on my purpose. This year, I am choosing purpose over perfection. Purpose over perfection. And what does that look like? That means choosing environments, people, actions, behaviors, etc. that align with my purpose and not this perfect picture that I have painted that I want to see for myself, right? Like I said, usually my goals, and I do have notes here because I want to stay on task. Usually my goals are rooted in a desire to achieve my most perfect life. And that can be overwhelming trying to work on everything at once, right? It doesn't help that I have anxiety and that I put this additional pressure on myself. So this year, I thought the way that I'm going to tackle my life is that I'm just going to focus on my purpose. I only want to walk in my purpose and make sure the things that I do are aligned with the bigger picture of who I aim to become as a woman. I hope that hit somebody. I'm going to indulge in things that support my purpose and not necessarily support perfection, because perfection does not exist. And I don't believe that it is my calling to be perfect, right? That said, it sounds a little loosey-goosey, I know, right? It sounds like, is there structure in that? Like, you a Capricorn, how are you just going to let go of all the structure in your life? What are you doing? Hold on. Even though I am focused on purpose over perfection, and I have let go some of the very rigid ways in which I approach my life, I just want you all to know that the program is still getting stricter. The program is still getting stricter. And let me explain what I mean by that. Anyone in my life knows I run a tight ship. Captain Smith, I don't play. I run a very tight ship over here. However, when it comes to people that I love and truly care about, sometimes I can grant them a certain level of leniency that allows them to run amok in my life. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm the one that's hurting and not them. If I am going to walk in my purpose this year, the program got to get stricter. And not just stricter for the outsiders of my life, not just stricter for my family, for my friends, for my acquaintances, for my business associates, for people that I meet out in the community. The program got to get stricter for me. My God. It got to get stricter for me. I have to have more discipline than I have been having. And that's an uncomfortable thing, right? To say I got to be more disciplined, because who really likes discipline? I like discipline, but it's uncomfortable at times when you kind of just want to kick off your shoes and just do whatever, right? But if I'm going to truly walk in my purpose and be the woman that I envision myself becoming, I'm going to have to tighten up in a lot of different ways. I can acknowledge that I haven't been the most disciplined in my life within the past year. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I lost my job last year. I was laid off early 2025. And so I kind of got thrust into this, I think, period of my life that was just winging it and not being very disciplined, not being disciplined in my workouts, not being disciplined with my time, not being disciplined with my regimens, all of these things, right? And I'm fed up with myself. Yeah, I'm fed up with myself. And I had to get here in order for me to be like, okay, girl, it's time to clock back in. When it comes to other people, family, friends, so on and so forth, I will be very much guarding myself, my energy, my time, and my conversations with the people in my life. And I say that because I feel like any interaction that you have with people in your life is an exchange of energy. And in having interactions with some people in my life, I didn't really like the energy that I was getting. And I hesitate in saying that because it's not like I felt like people were intentionally trying to be malicious toward me or anything like that. Like, I didn't think anybody in my life was particularly moving with malintent. However, you can't fake your energy. And I just felt like in some of the conversations that I was having with people were projecting their shit onto me, and I'm not really here for it. I can't live like that in my life. And so from this point forward, I no longer want to have certain conversations with my family and friends. Last year, I did something that I thought was so beautiful and so great, and I didn't know how I was going to approach it this year until I didn't do it. And I was like, wow, I need that back. And what I did was I journaled every single day of 2025. I wrote my thoughts and my feelings down. I put pen to paper. And I haven't been consistent with that this month of January. I thought I'm just going to do one line a day, so on and so forth. But then I noticed that because I wasn't really journaling like I did last year, I was sharing more about my life than what I really wanted to share or felt comfortable sharing with people. That was kind of like my light bulb, like, you need to go back to journaling, bitch. Put pen to paper and stop talking to these people. So that's what I'm going to do. And so that is how I am approaching 2026. I am chasing my purpose over perfection. And my program is getting stricter, specifically for me. I'm going to really have to dig my heels into the sand and get real. And the challenge in that is that I'm always looking for external support, right? I always want people to back me up or support me or some kind of accountability system. And I had a moment maybe a couple of days ago, like, girl, the support that you're looking for is within. The accountability you're looking for, also within. I know that doing things in teams and in partnership with other people can seem more comfortable because it feels like you have somebody else to lean on. It can make the journey a lot easier. You know, two heads is better than one kind of thing. But the reality is that this is your journey and your journey alone. Will other people be there to assist you along the way? Absolutely. But you cannot predicate your movements and your success off of what other people got going on and how much they're going to help you or not. You have to get going on your own. You just got to start moving. and build up some momentum. And once the momentum is built up, then other people will see what it is that you're trying to do and let them offer help if they want to offer. But you cannot afford to sleep on yourself any longer because you don't have the external support that you were looking for. So what does that mean for my content? Well, what that means is that this year you are going to be getting more raw and unfiltered content from me. I don't live an aesthetic life. I live a real life. Now, don't get it twisted. I live a very good life. There are people who would give their left pinky toe to have my life. I ain't even gonna hold you. But I understand that what social media gravitates toward is not always real. I know some people want to see the super over the top aesthetics, fake highlight reel type shit. That's not what's happening over here, family. If you want to see what life is really like for a 42-year-old Black woman living in the South, who is educated, who is trying to build community, who is trying to walk in her purpose, then you are in the right place. If you are looking for somebody who is going to come on here and fake it for you and sell you a lie just so that you can buy into whatever it is that they're selling you, baby, you in the wrong place. You can go ahead and click out now, unsubscribe, block me, delete me, do whatever it is you feel you need to do. Okay? Because I ain't faking nothing for the internet. I never have. And I would argue that because I don't fake it for the internet, that's why my following is so small. I digress. So if that's your jam, I highly recommend you stick around. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and stay tuned.